And go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. My name is Michael John, of course, of Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories, coming to you live from the Static Planet, also known as sometimes Windsor, Ontario. We are the border city right across from good old Detroit, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, don't mind the background. I'm doing what I can, how I can, when I can, where I can, because my apartment, if you know what's going on in my life, is in a shambles, because apparently when the city buys your apartment from someone, they take over and do whatever they want when they want. So I've been in a ruckus for a few months now. It's very frustrating, but enough about my problems. That's not what it's about here, folks. Oh my God, Dale. Great guest today. I was so excited. I had 3 shots of apple cider vinegar, plus 2 cold showers. Not one. I had to have 2. Oh my God. Right? Are you having those yet?
Oh, dude, I wish I could get in the cold water like you, but I mean, it's a little bit colder than I usually have one. How about that one? But apple cider vinegar, definitely not, dude.
That works.
I mean, God bless you for being able to take shots of those, because like,
don't bless me, please. Jesus. No, but so much going on. It's been crazy as of late. Opportunities abound. Paranormal opportunities. Oh my God, I'm going to be at the UFO Contact Convention September 22nd and 23rd in Houghton Lake, Michigan. Oh my God, what an opportunity that's been granted me to speak there. And it's my debut speaking gig. Sorry, I'm dealing with a cat that wants to jump up on this little shelf I have here that I've made up to be able to do this. And God, everything will fall over if she does. So come here. Hold on, I gotta move her. I'm so sorry. I know. Good girl. Sorry. Anyways, yes. So there's that, but also there's other opportunities that are presenting themselves. We're not gonna spoil it right now. We're gonna talk about it during the show. We want to share it with our very special guest today. Of course, Dale, tell everybody where we're going, where we're gonna be, who we're with, and how we're doing it.
Oh, yes. I mean, you know, our season is just about to begin. March is just around the corner, just like usual. And to kick it all off is, of course, one of our favorite events to be a part of. Pooches for Potographs for Pooches with the great Tim Malley and the lovely Lauren, who are presenting this coming up this March 8th and 9th up in Ann Arbor, Michigan. One of our favorite events to be kicking all off the Paracon season with. So we're so excited about that. Just want to say a quick shout out, hello to the people on the side. We got the lovely MJ Dixon in the house. MJ, we love you. We miss you too. And we can't wait to see you, MJ. That's coming up very soon. Of course, the lovely Candace Isaacson's tuning in.
Cayenne pepper, you're crazy.
I know, right? I was like, wow, that's cool. But you know, and then we're kicking it up into April. April, we have, of course, we have the Mid Michigan Parafest coming your way with 2 great friends of ours, Chad and Heather Dye. Check that out. Soon to be, yes.
Chad Dye for now.
Yeah. And then, of course, our great guests tonight, we're going to be a part of their event. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but yes. So folks, come on down, check it out. Pooches for Potographs, happening March, April 8th and 9th. Go to poochesforpotographs.com and get your tickets today and join us, because they have an amazing lineup happening. And of course, I mean, we're going to be there. So come on and say hi to us as well.
Love it. Absolutely. So many good things going on right here, right now. Hashtag blessed, thankful, grateful, humbled. We are indeed. Hashtag how lucky are we? Of course, right, Dale?
Absolutely. We are so blessed. And I'll tell you, with our guest tonight, I mean, she has been absolutely amazing to us. She has
Yeah.
been a big part of our journey and being a
Yeah.
part of who we are here today as Paranormal Voice. I mean,
Yeah.
like she's been so good to us. And I mean, she's been a dear friend of mine for, I don't want to age us, so it's been a very long time.
A
Like
couple
I said,
minutes.
just a couple minutes, but I'll tell you, I love it every time we get the opportunity to sit down and talk with her because I'll tell you, this she is all over just like us. I mean, she's everywhere. Every time you turn on an event, she is there. She is just amazing. Oh, and of course her merch, the
Scully,
Scully shirts. You gotta
in
love
honor of Scully
Scully.
and her, of course.
Oh yes.
Yes.
So yeah,
Well,
no, like I said, it is time, brother. Let's bring this lovely lady
all
out.
right, rock and roll. Here we go. Here it comes. Are you ready, everybody? So, at the tender age of 12, this young lady's life had changed forever. Basically, the bottom line was this: she knew she'd have to grow up. She'd carry a secret of hearing and seeing things that pretty well no one else could. Right now, her sole mission always has been this: that's to help people gain some sort of an understanding of the paranormal as well as the spirit world. She's last 42 years. That's some time on the clock, folks. 42 years living and learning from all these experiences. Now, Dale Quigley, myself, to say we're honored is an understatement, of course. The very least to say sometimes friends do become family. All right, and that's exactly what this amazing human being is to us. Please welcome our talented as well as gifted guest, author, speaker, medium, Exie Susan Smith.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I am so humbled. Thank you so much. Oh, you're cracking
Thank
me
you.
up too. I love
No, I mean, I'll tell you, since I think day one we started to do this podcast, I think you were pretty well one of our very first guests that we ever had
Aw.
way back in the day when we started doing this. And then your predictions on our show,
Hello,
like
Kim.
for where this was going to go, I mean, I think you've pretty well been spot on, and I think we've really came into our own, and it's because of great friends like you and Candace and the Tim Shaws and the Franks and the Brad and Tims. Like I said, we are very fortunate to be able to come out here and talk to amazing people. But you are always the one that were up front, and you've been always a big, huge supporter to us. So we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Aw.
That you are a great mentor to us, and
Definitely.
we're glad to call you family, and we're glad to have you back here. But enough of the sappy stuff. This is they don't want to hear our sappy stories.
No.
Nice, baby. Yeah.
But for those who we are introducing you to, because now we are on a much bigger platform, we are on the KGRA digital network, which reads worldwide. So we are branching out further and deeper than ever before. So we are now exposing you to a much bigger audience, and we want the world to know exactly who is the amazing Exie Suzanne Bruce Smith. And why is everybody so up in the air about her?
This crazy lady everywhere. Oh my gosh, it was such an honor. And thank you again for having me on. But it's crazy. It started so quiet, all of this like quiet like a mouse because I knew I couldn't tell people. It was back in the 70s. You were not gonna talk about this. Hey Candy, hey girl. Um, so I wrote, I journaled, and I love to write anyway. And all my books, the first version is always handwritten because it's just such a thing to me. I always feel like it's a Harry Potter thing. It's coming out of my body like blood onto the paper. Um, but it was important. So finally, my husband said to me, when I lost the best job I'd ever had, he goes, so what are you going to do? And I said, well, cry for today. And then tomorrow I'll figure it out, and I wrote this book. It just flowed. It just came out of all these journals I'd written. I didn't tell anybody for 42 years because I was already the fat little kid. There was no way I was going to be the weird kid too. It's like, oh yeah, heap that on.
Aw. Aw.
So I finally I wrote it, and I sent it to a few people, and they were like, this is a great premise. We'd rather it be a screenplay. And it was like, oh, overload my head. Um, so I never did that. It's back here, and I did. Well, I never submitted it. I did write it, but so it became this phenomena. And I went on Amazon. I did it, on
Yep.
CreateSpace because it was mine. I didn't want to lose it, kind of thing. I'm a Virgo, so little control freaky.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
well, and it became a bestseller. The damn thing sold around the world, and I was like, okay, so yeah, that's the baby, and it is my favorite book. And I wrote it to help people. I have given that thing away more times than I've sold it, I swear, because it's for parents who have a 12-year-old or an 8-year-old that sees things and they're like, is my child lying to us? And I'm like, well, it's your child. You should know. But you seem like great people. I don't think you raised a liar, if you will. I said that kids have imaginations, but all I've got to do is spend a couple of minutes with this child, and I know they're either a full-blown medium or a psychic medium, some of them, and they're
Wow.
just these little bodies with all this stuff. So I'll mentor them. I mentor with the parents, and I hand them a book and I tell them, read this. And if you like it, if you want, pay me something. If you don't, it's fine. This is for you to learn about your child and what they're going through so that they don't have to do it alone like I did. It was awful to do it alone, and when Ghost Hunters came on TV, I knew it was time. I knew it was time. I gave Grant one of my books. I said,
Wow.
I looked at it and I went, this is your fault. And he laughed so hard. And we kind of became friends. I mean, I'm not going to follow him around, but nice guy, great guy. So I gave him this book and he contacted me later and he was like, damn, he goes, it's really well written. But he goes, it really cuts to the chase and it talks about why you couldn't talk about it.
Right.
And I said, thank you. I said, thank you for opening these doors and letting us all come out of the closet, and I have a huge gay following because I've come out of the closet. I mean, spiritually, paranormally. And I don't understand their fight and their struggle and their what they hide from, but I understand mine. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So we talk and it's great. But I just want everybody to know not everything's demonic. Not everything's awful. It could be your grandmother. Could be, your best friend that you didn't even, when you were in elementary school that has passed on, died early. I just wants to say thank you. I love you. I'm there. Could be your spirit guide. You're ignoring me. You and me the first. But short of getting this upside the head, which they hate to have to do, but they will. Listen, tune in. And that's what I wanted to get through. So, and then I became a ghost hunter. So then the next 3 books have a lot of ghost hunting stuff in there too, which is so much fun. I mean, who doesn't like to run around in the dark,
Yeah. Now, this would be your second book, I believe.
When the Dead Come Calling. And that is my favorite. I own that title because I just loved it. I thought it would make such a great movie title, The picture on all of my books, there's always light because there's always light. Even in the darkest times, there's always light. And I tell people to wait until the light. Do not make decisions. in the dark because it's a rash, in the middle of the night at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Wait for the sun to come up because it's always different. It always feels different. It looks different. It's very important. We're talking suicide or whatever, major life ending decisions, major life shifting decisions. So there's always a light somewhere on my books. This was taken after a empty house, very spooky, up on a bluff on Lake Michigan in Grand Haven. We were sitting on the beach one night as little kids having a bonfire. We were 12, there was 15-year-olds, whatever. It was all the kids, all the parents were up, so they could see us. And I turned to say something to somebody. That house was empty. And over their shoulder, the house on the hill lit up.
Oh,
wow.
It lit. And so this person, I can't tell you what they said to me. I have no idea. I know I'm shaking my head, and but I knew there was a party going on in that house, and it wasn't just flashlights or it wasn't candles. It was totally lit. So that became a story, and I think it's probably in that book. But I loved that house. It was just cool. I could picture everything because it looked like an old colonial. Look, a lot of money in that house.
yeah. So, Exie, do you do remote viewing as well?
I do.
So you have a combo of gifts, right?
Obviously. I'm sorry.
There's a combination of gifts that you
Oh my gosh.
Given.
And I channel to, and sometimes it's such a surprise because my voice will change or my attitude will change, and I'll be trying to roll my eyes backward in my head, going, "Screw you! Get out of my body! Get out of my body! I didn't invite you in. What the hell? My fault. I didn't block enough, But
Yep.
I got or it gets really high. I've gone into accents, or
Oh wow.
I know people will look at each other, and I'm what I don't know. I just let it flow and let it finish, But it's cool. It's just cool. So
No
as long as they don't
kidding.
stay, I don't.
Right.
Uh,
Have you ever had that?
actually,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, have you ever had that where they don't want to leave and they stay and you had to force them out?
No, because pretty much it's a communicative thing, and they want to get a message. The first time it ever happened, it was a woman's mother, and I'm looking right at her, and she said I even like shifted, like her view of me kind of shifted, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's because that's mom coming in, Mom came in like a hot bullet too. She was like, I just kind of wasn't quite picking up on her because her son's a full-blown medium. I had a girlfriend with me who's a full-blown medium. So I had so much energy around me, and I'm trying to block them. And Mom had it in spirit form, and she just jumped in. And I looked at her daughter, and I made 2 statements to her that only her mother would have said to her. And she just flopped back in her chair. And then Mom stepped out.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that was the first, and
that's the amazing stuff when you can reach out like that. And Dale and I were just talking about that the other day, I believe. No, a buddy of mine. Sorry, I talked to Dale so much, I always think it's Dale. So I had a ghost box here at one point, and a gentleman, a very good friend of mine, he doesn't believe in this stuff, and he thought we were talking to his mom, or so it said. And then he asked a very personal question, and the response from the being in the box said it was, in this body of water. Right, is the short version. And this was got to be at least 5 years ago now, and he's still talking about it. He doesn't believe in that. He goes, but that he can't explain, and that blew his mind. So my point is this: with you, Exie, and your gifts, it's like when you say something that resonates with someone that there's no way on the planet you could know that solidifies everything about you and your credibility, and you just.
Thank you.
When someone reaches out from beyond to someone, that's a gift as well, right? Mom spoke to her. It's awesome.
It's so cool too when they use their nickname. Like I'm in the middle of a reading and I'll look at them and go, and so buddy, and then they just, okay, I hit something there, They're like, shaking, they can't talk. That's what my dad called me, and I'm like, I know. I know. It's like, all right, dumbass. Yeah. I didn't mean to say it that way, but yeah. Okay, cool. It's very cute. It's very sweet. I love being that conduit. I love that
Yeah.
means so much to me to be able to do
So
that for
cool.
people and let them know, this one gal, she goes, My mother hasn't come to see me in all these years. And I said, your mother has been there since the moment she passed. She went home, checked into heaven, checked in with God, because that was her thing,
Yeah.
came back and has been with you. And she's like this around you, like, hello, hello. And I said, you're so busy trying to see her. It's like the forest from the trees. I said, you're so trying so hard to see her, you can't see her. I
Right.
said, do you ever feel wind go past you? Oh my God, I do. And I'm like, well, that's her. How often does that happen a day? And she's like,
Nice.
a lot. And I'm like, you're wearing her out. You might want to just relax and tune in. So I asked Mom to come in a dream, and then I gave her some information, the scent, like a rose scent. She'll come with that, and pennies from heaven. And so hopefully she'll let herself kind of relax into this whole thing, and it's one of those, who sits in a chair? She sat in a chair. Well, she goes, my dad sits in a chair. And I said, well, she stands behind him. Oh, so
Holy cow.
yeah.
Uh,
It's fun.
So actually, for those that might not know the difference between a psychic medium, a spiritual medium, could you just kind of give us a little breakdown so that people can understand the difference? Because they're not all the same. They don't all have the same gifts. I mean, they do. They might have very similarities, but each one is different.
Well, and I wish I could remember the direct quote. Chip clarified it for me once, like 10 years ago. So well.
Chip coffee?
Yeah. But
Okay.
I mean, basically, one talks to the dead, one talks to spirit, and one can do both. As a psychic medium, I can do all of them.
Yeah.
Talk to the dead. The others, like psychic, what is it? Psychics and medium? I don't know. I get them mixed up. But so I'm waiting for Candy's thing to pop up. But that's the difference. One talks to the dead, one talks to the spirit, and I can do both. So that's basically in a nutshell. No more quizzes, okay? Yeah. Damn it. So no, but I mean that's the truth. That's what it is. But I can't tell you if it's the medium or the psychic. I believe it's the medium that can talk to the dead, and the psychic talks to the spirit. So when you're a psychic medium, you do both.
Speaking of that, so Midwest Parafest this year, you guys are doing. There's you, Tim Shaw, Candace Isaacson, Mary Bassett. You guys are doing a psychic medium themed. I don't even know what to call that. There are 4 of you on stage, and everybody in the audience gets a chance. You're just going to randomly start saying, "Hey, who's got a dog named Timothy that had a red bow in his ear all the time?" You're just going to do stuff like that. I don't know how to describe it. I'm sorry. Excuse my ignorance. But I mean, I think that's amazing. Pardon?
You're fine. I'm assuming. See, I haven't even really talked to Heather and chat about it thoroughly, but I mean, it's exciting. It's kind of a gallery, I'm assuming, form. Yes. Did one with Tim last year up at the Sioux. What a riot! Oh, we had way too much fun. But we'll select people. There you go. I was right. Good for me.
Candace for the win.
Candace.
I told her she'd be there. That's my partner. That's my business partner. So we're doing that, but we're also going to have a dinner. We're going to be at the table. So tickets are available so that you can join us for dinner. I have 1 seat left at my table. I am bringing gifts for everyone that comes to my table. So, yeah, a little merch.
Excuse me, I'm going to go buy some tickets right now. Hang on.
One left. I was shocked.
I'll sit on Dale's lap.
So, but we'll do that. We'll do everybody an individual reading. And then I would be thoroughly happy to talk more about it, talk more mediumship, more psychic stuff. and read while we eat. And I'm just
Yeah.
really excited. I think it'll be a riot. I love that Chad and Heather come up with these different,
Yeah.
different ideas. So fun
Yeah.
for us and for the guests
Yeah.
to do something different. But we'll be there too. We'll be on the floor all day. We'll be doing readings and my books and my merch, and so
Yep.
it'll be cool.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a creative idea, is to be able to have people be able to sit at your table with you, talk about you, and basically pick your brain about every question they've ever had. And I like that about the different guests, because I mean, people are going to have an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to sit and chat with you guys through dinner and talk. And because I mean, I imagine there's lots of people who have a lot of questions. I mean, for those people out there that are not even sure if they have the abilities to be a medium or a psychic or something, it's good to be able to sit down with people like you, Candace, Tim Shaw's, and you guys will be able to help them and guide them to understanding what it is they're going through, which is amazing.
It's really great step to coming into your own, for them, because that's important, because you don't know what the hell's going on. Why is this happening? How do I either stop it, because not everybody wants it, or how do I enhance it? So, I mean, I mentor, and I mentor for free. It's usually a 20-minute, 15-minute segment, and we will talk either live or on the phone, live on here, and
Yep.
it's maybe 2 or 3 times, and I tell them that this is now you go practice. Go live your life, learn how to open, learn how to close, learn how to block,
Okay.
be kind, be gracious. You can't help everybody. Understand that's huge. You can't save anybody, that's even bigger, because that they can drag you down. So you have to be careful. And just some of those tips and those points, and communication. Listen, go practice, go read everybody you can. And then eventually read people you don't know. Then you really know you've stretched yourself.
Right.
And that's cool. That's fun. I mean, that's fun. I'm working with my son. So maybe
How's that going?
he is incredibly intuitive, more so than I think I will ever dream of being. So maybe someday I'll get him to an event. So that would be, and he's really cute, so that'll help. He's really, mom. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now kids don't like it when their parents say stuff like, especially in public. It's just like stop.
Yeah.
Um, but actually, for those people that are not sure now, as a psychic, a medium, and all that, are you able to turn it off, or is this just a constant thing that's like you're bombarded all the time? But I mean, as somebody that is not a medium, like they wouldn't understand, like how does it work? Like, can you turn it off? Can you turn it on? Do you choose who can talk to you and who cannot talk to you?
Yeah. Yes and no to everything. Yeah, and it was a learning to turn it off, because I mean, when I was a kid, it was on all the time, and I didn't understand why there was always something there. I always knew somebody was watching me. Always. I mean, always, everywhere. Um, we so you had to learn to close. Then you had to learn to protect yourself, because things come for you. People
What?
send things to you that you don't want.
Really?
That was the first time I ever did a gallery at the Sioux. Chip Coffee came up to me and he goes, "Congratulations, you just made enemies." He goes, "Be careful." And I was
Ooh.
like, "What? It's just me. What?" And he was so right. He was absolutely right. So I learned how to protect and how to cover and how to ground better. and went forward with that. But yes, absolutely, I shut things off. I close my crown, I close my third eye, um, protect myself. I put myself in a bubble, my house in a bubble, my car, my family, my friends. I put one under my house.
Okay.
So above is so below.
Yeah.
So you're just careful. You're careful. And the more you do this, the more you get out there, the more people tend to have an issue with you. There's
Jealousy.
jealousy, mental illness, um,
Yes.
lack of understanding.
Yes.
So I try to educate as well. Whenever I do a speaking engagement, I try to educate. I grew up Lutheran and Jewish, for Pete's sake. It's like, come on, if you could be more here and here, you know. So
Can't make it up.
there was a whole huge understanding that I had to have to make this all fit and come together. And it was just kind of like, I'm talking to the same guy, was my conclusion. So, and it worked for me
Right.
as my human person, as a spiritualist. And, I go from there. I don't preach it. I don't, because it's my business. It's nobody else's. Make what work, make things work that work for you, and figure them out for yourself. Well, okay, does this piece fit? Well, no, it worked for her, but it doesn't for me. So throw it away, and fill that with something else, something hopefully positive and light. I work in the light. I like it. I love it. I had years as a kid that were not in the light, and it didn't work for me. And I fought hard. I fought hard. Um, I lived by the Beatles song "Here Comes the Sun" for I played that. It helped me survive. Um, so it has become kind of a theme song for me, an anthem, because it's "Here comes the sun, the light." See, there comes in that light. It's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
It can save you. So, use what you need to use. Don't be a user, a usurper, but take those steps you need to take to keep yourself alive, healthy, moving forward, mentally fit, physically fit.
Yes.
You want to be a good human. It
Yep.
really matters. It really matters, because you could be a shit, excuse me. And it's like, why? Why? Does that make you feel good? Does that, so it's like, nope, nope. I'm going to go this way. And if y'all want to come, please do. And I will push you forward and help you jump forward and promote you, because it's more fun to go together. It's like, come on, let's go. Yeah,
Yes.
let's
Yes.
conquer it.
So
Why not?
working in the light, I got to ask, touching on that. So let's go back in time. You said, so you weren't always working with the light, so to speak. So if you could share with everybody here right now on Facebook and on YouTube, and then for the Saturday night 1 a.m. spot we have with KGRA, the listeners, the creepiest, freakiest entity, person, being you ever encountered with your gifts.
It was a Wendigo. It was some friends of mine that lived in Michigan. We used to get together, and we'd either do mini ghost hunts or we'd get together and plan ghost hunts. And it meant two of them one was Italian, and she was a fabulous cook, and the other was a chef. She should have gone to culinary school. And we'd all bring a bottle of wine, and we had food galore, and we'd just sit. It was like an excuse to eat and drink, but it was such good quality. So I'm in their backyard, and to go into their house, you went up steps. You stepped in and then went up. So the basement, the first set of steps was probably 5 cinder blocks up. So I'm sitting outside and they're talking, and I'm staring at the back of their house, and there's something in there, and it's floating.
Oh.
And it's weird. Well, what the hell? So I asked them, I said, what's in your basement?
Yeah.
Well, the owners, the original owners, their son lived with them, and he became a drug addict, lived in the basement.
Yeah.
had ripped all the copper pipes out of the house before they
Oh
bought
God.
it, sold them. They're pretty sure he died in that basement. And I'm
Oh, that's
like,
too
okay, you know,
Yep.
okay, let me see if I can feel him. Well, they had an old coal room in the house where back in the day when you had the furnace, they'd bring coal, dump it down into a chute that was in your basement. So you had like a coal room. And I think that's where they found him because that's kind of where I feel this thing, him. So we go downstairs and I'm standing around and I'm like, no, there's still something wrong. So we go back outside and I've kind of dropped the subject. So whatever's coming up the stairs, it's black. It like a looks like a small object, like a purse, fabric. So I bound it and I didn't know. So I talked to Brian Danhausen about this, and he goes, "You do know you have a witch in your history somewhere." He goes, "Because you don't just do castings, bindings. You don't just think of those things." He goes, "That's heritage." He goes, "That came through you from somebody." So I bound this thing with a wet red string. I have no idea what the significance of the color was, and then I knew it was cotton, so it would shrink. So I thought, as this cotton dried, it would shrink and it would maybe make this thing go away.
Hmm.
So they call me like 2 days later and they're like, okay, our dog, they had two bulldogs. They did bulldog rescue and two bulldogs and a cat. Their cat Star, solid black. She was just like, she was a diva. She was so cool. But the biggest of the male dog, he would eat. Didn't matter. I mean, he would eat anything. They had to be very careful. He stopped eating. They started arguing. There was off things in the house. And I said, so I'm asking questions. I said, what do you mean the dog quit eating? She goes, well, yeah, kind of like 5 days ago, the dog started to act funny. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me this sooner? What the hell's going on? So I start to tune into the house. Brian had painted a picture for them. And it was this thing. It was skinny. It had this big head. And it had arms. And on its outfit, it had two arms. I may have had more in the painting. And it had like Morticia Adams on her dress. She had those tendrils that would come down. And that's what this thing looked like. So I'm 35 minutes away from her and I tune into her house. In the middle of her basement is this thing standing there. So I call her. I said, how's it going this morning? She goes, everything's wrong. Everything's off. And I said, okay. So I said, so tell me, have you always had two floor drains in your basement? She goes, how in the hell do you know that? She goes, oh God, don't. She goes, never mind. She goes, I know what you do. I'm sorry. I just started to laugh. This thing's coming up out of the floor drain. And you can't see the floor drains anyway, because she's got a huge tapestry on the floor, this big, beautiful rug. But it's coming up and it's got an arm connected to the north-south wall. One of the other walls, I forget now, and the other one is attached to the ceiling that's underneath their bed in their bedroom. They've been fighting. This thing's living off of that energy.
Yep.
And it's presently trying to kill the male bulldog.
Wow.
So it has now stopped it from eating. So a month before that, I had connected two people. A guy I had met 11 years before that, a healer in Kentucky. I mean, talk about strange things. Connected him to this gal who was working this case for somebody else, and she had a Wendigo. And it was really far south, and that's unlike behavior. Usually they're Canada, Michigan, Maine, Massachusetts. They don't usually go farther south. And Wendigos, if you don't know, they're soul eaters. They like blood. Their goal is to kill you, pure and simple. They are pure evil. There's nothing redeeming about them. Several pictures have been taken. They're Native American too. Some of them like skull heads with big antlers. They're just kind of creepy and skinny and wrong. So they talk. She's taken all these notes of things to do. I get a hold of her. I'm like, okay, I have the same problem you had. So I'm taking all these notes. I have to have crystals and I have to cast a spell of sorts, but I have to cast a circle. I get this stone. It's this big. It's gorgeous. And I can't remember what kind it was. It's in the book. It is in the book. So smoky quartz. I get that there. And I have to put crystals around it on the floor and do that while I'm still staring at this Wendigo thing in her basement, getting as close as I can. It has to sit for 24 hours.
Oh.
The goal of this is to entrap the Wendigo in the crystal.
Okay.
So I asked I was at the store and had never communicated with crystals before. I always thought it was kind of hooey. So, which now I've learned of all the crap I believe in, why shouldn't I believe in everything else? You know? So I've learned. So I get in there and this thing talks to me. I hear off to my right, I am what you need. I'm like, looking around the store. I'm the only person in this mystic store. And this lady behind the counter, she goes, you heard it. I looked at her and I'm like, all right, where's the Twilight Zone music? What? You know, you feel like you're being punked. You know you're being punked. So I buy this crystal and I want this crystal. I mean, I'm coveting this thing. It's like, oh, it's gorgeous. But it's like buying somebody a birthday present you really want. You know, it's the right thing. You have to give it to them. So I get that. I get everything else. Make this diagram up. Go to this woman's home. She worked at home, so she takes a break. We set this up in the basement, and I put cover over all of this so that the cat doesn't come downstairs and play hockey with all of the crystals I have on the wall.
Right.
You could see this cat coming through and it's like, damn, just destroying everything.
Yeah.
So then in the top of this smoky quartz, I make an opening. This is all imagery work now. So I imagine that I've put a hole and it's set up so it's like a lobster trap or one of those finger traps. You can go in, but you can't come out.
Mm-hmm.
So once this thing starts to get in there, it can't come out. So there's a couple other things we have to do. We have to thank it for being there.
What?
Hardest thing ever. But you're feeding its ego. They're so ego driven, and you have to have none. You have to really kind of be submissive to it, which is tough. But you let everything go. And I thanked it for being there because it had taught me so much and it had taught me what true friendship was and blah, blah, blah. She thanked it for something else. She keeps looking at me like she's going to blow up. And I'm like, don't. We've already done all the groundwork, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we leave. It's now circling. Oh, and I missed the best part. With imagery, I put blood in it.
Okay.
So this thing's getting hungry because nothing has died for it yet in this house. So it's hungry. It wants food, wants blood. So now it's smelling the blood. So when I leave, this thing is down, circling it, this stone, and it's revolving around it. And I'm like, all right, he's busy. It's like leaving a toddler. You've given him something to do. I'm leaving. I get home, maybe 40 minutes. I'm down by the Detroit Zoo. So by the time I get home, I check in, but when I tune into something like that, I put up a mirror, like a two-way mirror, so it can't see me. It only sees It only sees its own reflection because I don't need this damn thing in my house. You know, I can take care of it there. I really don't want it on my property.
Good point.
Anytime you're ever going to do that, a viewing, put up that mirror so they see themselves because they'll stop. And they'll look right at the mirror. They know, something's entered their space. So about 5 hours later, I tune in and one of the tendrils on its sleeve has been caught in this trap. So I know it can't get out. I know. So I text her, it's begun. just before I go to sleep, about 10:30, 11 o'clock, I tune in and it's up to here. It's like waist deep into this crystal. And it's so angry. It's angry. It wants out. It either wants to go out or it wants to go deeper because it wants the blood.
Yeah.
3:33 in the morning, I'm woken up by these words that I hear loud and clear in my bedroom. It is done. And I'm like, okay, wonderful. Go back to sleep. I call her about 7 o'clock and she goes, oh, that's funny that you said that because I just got a message. It is done. It's over. And I went, what? No,
What?
no, shit, no. So that means something else. There's more.
Oh boy.
So I tuned into the basement. This thing had created a minion. It had created a sidekick.
Oh boy.
It had a buddy.
Oh.
That's what that original black package was this thing had created originally something that died. So he created another one.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a kind of a remote view of her basement. There it is. It's off in the corner where I came in here. It was back here and I didn't sense it because I was so wrapped up with him. And I've only got about 3 more hours. I got to get this thing out of the house. You've got 24 hours to get it captured and gone, or it can release itself. So I asked the crystal, do you have more room? And I get a yes. I'm like, cool. Make another hole, put more blood, make it the trap, push this thing with wind in the basement over toward it. It sees it. It dives in. It's slow. It's not working fast enough. So in my head, I start stuffing this thing. It's like I'm trying to stuff a zucchini or something into this trap. And I am laughing so hard. I'm like, oh, keep your concentration. Just, don't, yeah. And it seals itself. The thing is in there. So I told her, I said, I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to brush my teeth, grab something to eat, and I will be there. So I get there. It's a Saturday. So Steve's home. I'm like, gotta run. Got the world to save as I go out the door, and we're laughing. I was just making a joke, And so I get there, I hand her crystals, St. Michael medallions, and oh, hey Jeff, I can't tourmaline, and I hear her go out, bury crystals in the back of the garden, back 2 corners of the lot. And I said, wait until I get this thing out of the house. Then I'm going to have you bury them in the front yard. Then I'm going to have you go around the house with salt. So I have a bag of white sand. I bought play sandbox sand. Had it in 2 plastic bags. Pick this thing up, put it in the sand, seal it, take it out of her home, take it off of property, put it in the street behind my car. And I'm like, please don't let anybody steal this because they're stealing death, So I'm like, I don't want anybody else to hurt themselves. Yeah, we all right, surprise. So go back in, get everything cleaned up. The cat had left everything on the floor perfectly. I was so
amazing.
proud. I gave Star extra pets and hugs and love. We saged the inside of the house. Do salted water, salted all the way around the house. I gave her a kiss on the cheek and left. I'm in my car. I got this thing in the trunk now. And I call my husband and I'm like, oh, what's up? He goes, you done? I said, yeah, I am. I said, meet me at the old field with a shovel in 20 minutes. He goes, okay. And he hangs up. And I'm like, I married the right man. So I drive out there. Yeah. And he's got a hole, he goes, how much deeper? I said, I don't know, 5-6 feet. He's like, what? I said, no, it's good. It's good the way it is. So we put it in there and I put a just kind of a spell, I guess, or words over it that is not detectable, that no one can feel it, no one can find it. It's like finding, you don't want to find the Jumanji board,
Okay.
cover it, back up, and we go away. It has been, I don't even know how many years, 7 years, and the house has been fine. I'm assuming the house is fine. I would assume they'd get a hold of me. I haven't talked to them in a few years, but that's the Wendigo, and that was harrowing. That was a first.
Yep.
Something that is pure evil that just wants to consume you. That was
I
wild.
learned so much from this story right now. I had no idea. I mean, I've heard the term Wendigo, but I've never researched it to the point. I mean, I had no idea they had a bloodlust. I had no idea of any of this. So thank you so much. This is a learning tree moment for sure for me, and I'm sure many others. Thank you for that story. That was fantastic.
No, that.
Dale, we can't hear you.
We lost her.
Oh.
Oop.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
A little better.
Okay. A little bit better?
Yeah.
Coming.
Oh, I don't know. It's weird. Okay.
Let's try not to touch anything.
Boom.
I'll put my hand
Good.
right there.
You're back.
Don't breathe.
Okay, so I remember you telling that story the one time, and then it is in your first book, I believe. But yeah, no, that's like I said. I mean, just to know something that dark and negative lives in our world, that's just scary enough. But I want to turn it to a little bit lighter side now. Now, you and Candace put on an amazing event every year. And me and Michael John ourselves were a part of it last year, our very first time. And I'll tell you, it was such an amazing event. And you have another one that's coming up just around the corner.
We do. April 20th.
And here it is on the screen right now, folks. The location, the date is.
It's a new location too, just so everybody
Oh.
knows. It came last year. It's a different building. We went a little bigger, not too big. We didn't want to lose the charm, but it is a little bigger. So a lot more vendors for people too to shop from.
Absolutely. And I think this is like the events like this, the body, mind, and spirit event. It is all about self-love, self-care, getting in tune with yourself. I mean, now coming out of a pandemic as we have for the last few years, I mean, I think a lot of people lost that and really needed to get in tune with yourself and taking care of yourself, because you mentioned it early in the show. Taking care of yourself is so important. And that means not just by the things you eat and do every day, but also physically, mentally, most of all. And I think this is why this event is so important. For those who have never attended it, I would highly suggest get there. I mean, you will have such a great time as we did last year. And this year, I'll let Michael John tell us, or should we let Exie say it? Who wants to say?
I give the stage to Exie, of course.
So this year we've got you guys speaking, and I believe we have Michael John and Dale separate and then together.
Yes.
So they can talk about their own experiences and their lives, which would be awesome because we've not heard that yet. And then together to talk about that, but to also talk about what they do with the show, where they want to take it, and just to move it forward. We're really excited. I think it'll be great.
Absolutely. No, we are truly humbled and truly blessed to it is hard to put into words. When we were first asked about this, I think me and Michael both had to pinch ourselves, because we were like, wow, I mean, this is something we did. We have been manifesting. We have been thinking about upping, about who we are in the paranormal field. And we just want to say thank you so much to you and Candace for considering us to be a part of this amazing event, which we truly enjoyed. And now here we are. We're going to be they're talking about us and our stories. And like I said, me personally, I'm blown away, and I truly thank you guys.
Well, Candace came up with it, and it was such a great idea. So I was like, sweet, we'll go there, we'll do that. And yeah, it's a great opportunity. Plus, we'll get you guys on the Paranormal Pop with Brian Danhausen and Liz Cowell and myself, and get you to chat, and we have fun. It's
So
fun.
much,
Fun.
so much to look forward to. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of touch on what Dale said, and just, I mean, to say thank you is an understatement, number one, for an opportunity. You know, we've been, like Dale said, we're manifesting these things. We talk about stuff. What do we want to do? We want to level up. We want to get to that next level more. We want to get more involved somehow, some way. We want to be like an Exie Susan Bruce Smith. We want to be like a Tim Shaw, a Candace Isaacson. You got your merch tables. You got your books. You're speaking. We want to be like you. So I mean, you're literally giving us what we're trying to manifest. So it is coming true. Dreams do come true, everybody. It's true. You put it out there, and all of a sudden, oh my God, somehow, some way, it shows up. So thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, you are absolutely welcome. We're honored that you would be there for us. But great point. So, and I tell people, be careful what you wish for, because it can and will come true. So you gotta, phrase it right.
Yes.
Be excessive with your phrasing too, because if it's like, whatever, and it comes true, and it's like, well,
whoops.
Yeah. And that's what I tell people too. What we dream of, it doesn't always look like we thought.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And if it isn't, redream it. Put it out there again. A little clearer.
Absolutely. The universe is nothing but an absolute miracle. And I like, me and Michael John always sit back and we go, wow, just how blessed are we, and how fortunate are we to be doing what we do, and to be able to have such amazing friends as you and Candace and Tim, and the list goes on and on, the MJs. Like I said, it is truly nice to know that we have people that support us and love what we do, and kind of encourages us. And like I said, from day one, you were our very first guest as a part of the Paranormal Voice, and we here you are, and we're even closer than we ever were before, and I truly love that. And you are truly one of the people that truly inspire us to do better and to follow our dreams. So without, like I said, me and Michael John can never thank you and Candace enough. We truly appreciate this.
Well, we love having you around too. So
On the side, speaking of Candace, look at Candace. Candace saying for the Body, Mind, and Spirit event in Oxford coming up in April, we got 11 readers. One is an animal empath, which tickles my palate for sure. I've had a few dogs pass away in the last couple of years. Maybe I'll get a chance to hear from one of my cats. I don't know. I'll be bringing a lot of pictures. This poor lady, when I see her. Sorry?
But bring, because you can't bring the pet in because they serve food at this place. It's in the next door room, but you can't. So unless it's a service animal, of course. But bring a picture.
Yep.
That's what we want people. We're going to post that too. Bring a picture and she can read the photo.
You guys are going to have 12 vendors, 2 healers. We're going to have a radio podcast. I'm not sure who that is. We better go have a chat with them. I'm not sure about that. So Candace is saying, you guys, you tried your best to bring it for your body, your mind, and your spirit. It's going to be a ring a ding dong dandy of a time. It was no disappointment last year. It was like, so it was very intimate. You know what I mean? It's a smaller event, but it was so intimate. I made friends that a gentleman I still talk to on the phone. Oh my God, a guy named Mark Herzog.
So cool.
Amazing. Yes.
I love it. Yeah, it was packed. I mean,
yeah, you guys did amazing.
People waited at the door when it opened, and then I was packing and loading my car and still talking to people. You know,
Right.
just kind of like,
Gotta
yeah,
go.
you know, yeah,
Uh,
it was fun.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was a great day.
I can't believe a full hour is gone with you already, Exie. We could talk with you for at least another 4 or 5 hours before we even get to the tip of the iceberg of your truly amazing gifts. I want to give you an opportunity right now to tell the people out there, where's Exie going to be? How do you find our books? What if they want a reading? How to get all this, and how just where are you going to be? And we want people to come in and get a reading from you because it's amazing.
They can find my books on Amazon, Exie, Suzanne Smith, or just look up When the Dead Come Calling, and that usually finds me as well. I will be in Toledo April 13th. I will be in Oxford April 20th. And then I will be in Oxford at the Blue Crystal, hopefully again the second Friday of every month, May through October, maybe November. And then I will be, what did I do here? I'm going to do 2 Witches Nights out this year in October,
Ooh.
one in Oxford and one in Fenton, the 11th and 19th. I will be on the Paranormal Pop the first Monday of the month. We've changed it so many times. I think it's on there. And if they want to book a reading with me, it's at Exie-Paranormal at gmail.com. And I have 3 openings for April. Otherwise, we're going to go to May. So yeah, I think that was it. But thank you guys so much. It was a riot. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your winter hideaway place to come out of hiding and to talk to us here at the Paranormal Voice. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and learn from you and just know exactly just how special you are, not only to us, but to the rest of the world.
Thank you so much. I feel that way about you guys. Steve asked me, he goes, how long have you known Dale? And I said, I think I met Dale in 2012.
Wow.
It was either 12 or 13 in the Sioux. You looked as lost as I did.
I sure was. I walked into that building and didn't know a single soul. I didn't know anybody from the paranormal world. And an amazing guy, Mike Hartman, found out I was a fellow Canadian, walked up to me, and I said, this is my first time here. And he goes, well, come with me, and dragged me around that whole building, introduced me to everybody and anybody. And that's how this paranormal family began. And I met Exie. She was sitting there with her very first book. I got talking to you, and it was just an instant connection. And I mean, there is a huge story between us. I mean, you've been a major part of my life, but you have also been there when I've been in my darkest time. So, I mean, you have truly been a friend and an inspiration. And with that, like I said, I could never tell you exactly how much you truly do mean and what your friendship means to me. So, I mean, between you and Michael John, I think I would not be here if it was either for one of you guys.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's my honor to help and be there for you. You're such a good guy. You are truly a friend, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Michael John. You're a new friend for me, and that's awesome. Welcome to the club.
Yes, and it's amazing to be here. I got to say that. I mean, it's been a hell of a ride. The ride's gonna continue. I have no doubt about that. Thank you for being a part of the ride and taking the wheel many times at this point for us, for sure. With that, I want to say, everybody, don't forget Exie Susan Bruce Smith, Exie-Paranormal.com for all her books, for booking readings. etc. Maybe booking her at a convention up the road, a festival, what have you. To all our fans, the TPV Nation, the creeps, the freaks, the weirdos, thank you all so much for tuning in from day one to day now. Everybody that watched the live with us tonight, that got on there, Candace Isaacson, I think she took over the show actually, but that's okay. She's alive.
Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow.
We will see you all on the other side, of course. But in the meantime and in between time, happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.
Thank you.